Hi, everyone, and welcome back to another episode with myself. I'm Mandy, and this is Gisela.
Hi.
And, obviously, the name of the podcast is As the Walk Returns. So, welcome, Gisela.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, of course. So, just to start out, how do we know each other? How do we work together?
Well, I work for one of your buildings here in Colorado. So
wonderful.
So I met Mandy just over about a year and a half ago.
Okay.
So
how long have you been in the business?
I have been in senior living in some type of form since 2006.
So if we're going to be talking about move-ins today, you've maybe seen a few, 100,
just
1,000, maybe.
Yes, a lot.
So Gisela, let's just say you've got a family that has done the whole sales process, right? They've emailed, they've toured, they've deposited, and here we go. It's actual moving time. Is it a time of peace or?
It would be great if that was.
Okay.
But it's very, very stressful. So it's going to be stressful on multiple levels. So whether that be moving into independent living, you're going to be stressed because you are making a move. You are choosing yourself to be somewhere that you've never been. Incredibly stressful.
Sure.
Assisted living, it's probably the adult child that is going to be stressed, making sure moving company is blocked out. And again, is this the right decision that I made for my parents? And then flip side, memory support could be a spouse that's making that move for their spouse. And it's very guilt-ridden, completely guilt-ridden.
Sure.
And again, it goes back to, I don't know if this is the right decision that I've made. So upon moving, it's incredibly high stress in all neighborhoods.
So you've got stressed out families, stressed out brand new residents. Maybe they're stressing out the staff too in this whole process.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep. Sometimes unreasonable expectations that you had no idea was an expectation happens. And so that's also something very important to talk about on the front end.
Do you have an example maybe? I don't want to put you on the spot, but has there ever been a request that you were like, I didn't know we offered that service?
Putting together a whole living room set on day one.
Oh.
Which is not to say that I can't help put together a chair, but it was an expectation that our maintenance team is going to set up everything.
So we were going to truly move them in. And okay. How did you resolve that?
A lot of lessons learned in that move. This was from years and years ago, but it was more of kind of setting up what is going to happen on day one, and setting up what happens on week one is going to be very different than your move-in. The way that we resolved it is we just sat down with the family. I offered to bring them my own toolkit, and I did help put together a couple chairs for them, but they realized, you know what, it was never presented that we were going to be putting together everything. Yes, we would hang a TV for them, and yes, we can offer them a breakdown box service, but It's not the whole package.
Sure. Yes. Assembling the bed and okay, all right, that's good. So setting expectations up front, not just for the staff resources, also family, so that they can utilize or bring in whatever resources that they need.
Correct.
Okay. Yes. How important is it and we haven't touched on this topic, so I don't mean to squirrel a little bit, but how important is it for whether it's the spouse or the children that might be really struggling during this time to have a really strong support system behind them?
I hope everybody has a support system behind them, whether that be just independent living, assisted living, or memory support. But it's really important because you might start to feel like you did the wrong thing. But you could have that my brother saying, Gisela, Mom has gotten lost going to the grocery store 3 times in the past 4 weeks. She needed to make this move. And it's just that help, like you did the right thing versus you're going to be in your head.
Right. Yeah. That dark hole of guilt is deep. Okay. Yes. All right. How long do you think it typically takes for the residents to kind of like settle in, or sometimes we call it acclimate? Like, everyone's different. I understand it's a personal journey, but what would you say is realistic for families to say, hey, look, it's going to be a rough few days, just like let's everyone give everyone some grace. But what does that usually look like?
I think it looks a little different for every family, but memory support is one of the hardest. It is going to be hard on the person moving in, and it's going to be almost harder for the family members. And it's going to take a good solid 2 weeks just to kind of get into the habits, the momentum of what life looks like. But as an adult child, that's where you are the one that's feeling guilty, because you just don't know if you did the right thing. But after your parent settles in to, let's say, memory support, after a couple weeks, they start getting into their habits. And they're like, oh my gosh, my mom is doing fantastic. Mm-hmm. And it's because they have that structure and they're getting into their new norm, if you would.
Right. It's more, I'm not going to say failure free, but more opportunities to be successful.
Correct.
Right.
And I have seen it multiple times where families come and they stay every single day, because, again, did I make the right decision? And so when they start spending the night, when they start taking them home to their old house, that's when it's more confusing and it's easier just to not come back. So there's that. And then when we talk about independent living, it is incredibly, it's vulnerable being there for somebody that chooses to be there. So what I think about independent living is how brave somebody was to first get online and look at senior living. Even more courage when somebody picks up that phone to talk to, let's say, myself or somebody in the industry. And how nervous are they to take their first step into the community? Right. So let's say I came to independent living because I'm sick and tired of having meals by myself. Now I go into a community, and I've never been at a senior living community before, and it is really nerve-wracking to take that first step to say, yes, I want to move in. So it really takes the entire community, that includes residents that already live here. It takes all of the directors. It takes anybody that's inside our building to make somebody feel at home, because that's where they want to be. Now, day one, it's going to be really stressful. I think I met Andy down the street here. I think Roseanne is there, but I don't know what to do. Mm-hmm. My stuff is unpacked. And so that's when we really rely on our teammates. So we really rely on current residents to come and try to help invite them to dinner, because there would be nothing worse if I chose to move into senior living because I'm sick and tired of having meals by myself. And my first night, I'm sitting at dinner by myself. So it's really important to understand why people move into a community in the first place. Right. And even more important, to get not only directors, the entire community involved with understanding why somebody is there. Right.
Right. And I think one of the things that we saw during COVID, and as traumatic as it was, but loneliness was killing people too, right? And there was causing massive mental health issues. So being aware of that, knowing that, it's a little bit scary anytime you move into a new environment, whether it's new neighbors down the street or college or whatever you're going through. But I think they're especially vulnerable at this age. I mean, they may have lost a spouse, or, they've just given up their home, or whatever the situation is. So making sure that the other residents are showing them that kindness that hopefully was given to them at the beginning is critically important for their success.
And we really do we have a monthly town hall meeting, if you would, and I bring it up in every single independent living and assisted living. Remember what it was like to be new here, and what really helped you feel more comfortable. So even there is going to be an acclimation period for anybody that moves into any type 55 plus independent living, assisted living, and memory support. There is going to be a period where it's unknown. And so that's why we rely on each other.
That's great information. And I think that helps that expectation with families too. Just again, it's a life transition. It's a big transition. And so everyone just needs to be patient and show each other as much kindness and grace as possible, because, I think when you're in that much turmoil, you're it's easy to find the fault as opposed to finding the good. Mm-hmm. Oh, that's wonderful. Anything else you want to share? Okay, nobody knows like that. I'm very sorry. Thank you, Gisela. You have been fantastic.
It's my pleasure.
Okay, thanks for sharing. All right, we'll end there. Have a great day, everybody.